We then move on to Einsatzmöglichkeiten der Mehrsprachigkeitsdidaktik. This is an important exam question. So, to implement Mehrsprachigkeitsdidaktik, we have identified 7 areas. That is called as Sieben Siebe. And we are going to see them one by one. So, first area is Wortschatzvermittlung. So, whenever you are teaching new words, you are going to use the Mehrsprachigkeitsdidaktik. So, in this case, Internationalismus, ähnliche Wörter. And then you will be using them to learn new German words. So, that way, it helps to connect the already existing knowledge from the known language to the target language. Then you have something called as Funktionswörter. So, these are basically article or Fragewörter. So, how to ask question in the target language. Pronouns, prepositions. So, you are going to put the pronouns, prepositions and all these Funktionswörter for one language and then compare them against the German language, and that way you are going to show them the similarities and help them remember better. Laut and Graphem Entsprechungen. So, how a word is being pronounced in German and how a word is being pronounced in English and how they are written. There will be similarities in these aspects as well. So, typical example is house, H-A-U-S in German, H-O-U-S-E in English. But the pronunciation is the same. So, you are going to identify those kind of words between those two languages and then help the students remember the Redemittel in the target language. Then we have Syntaktischen Struktur. So, the way a sentence is being built in every language has a particular form and has a particular rule. So, you are going to take the Ähnlichkeit, the similarities in sentence Aufbau or the differences in the sentence Aufbau between those two languages, and then you are going to give them a learn strategy to build correct sentences in the target language. Then you have something called as Morphosyntaktische Elemente. A morphosyntactische element is how a word gets changed when you are using it in singular sense, plural sense, and then you have definite article and indefinite article. So, based on that, your word changes. So, A and D. So, these are basically indefinite and definite article in language. So, similarly, you have in German ein und der. So, you can compare like that and say whenever you are trying to use a definite article, use der form, and whenever you are trying to use the indefinite article, use the einer form. And for singular plural, you have Dach, Dächer, Bett, Better, und so weiter. So that way you can compare how the word changes in German and how the word changes in English, and that way you can give them rules and regulations to learn. Wortfelder, Wortwanderung und Geschichten. So, since these are all based on the same Latin language as the base, there will always be Einwanderung, migration of words from one language to the other. So, you must give them that background saying that this is a Latin based language and so is English. So, there is a fair chance that you will be finding words which have moved from German to English and English to German. So, that way you can bind the language elements with a particular reason, Begründung. And once you have a logical connection, then that gets automatically saved in the memory of the students. So, you can use these kinds of unique aspects between languages to teach the target language. Then you have Textarbeit. So, here it is comparison of two texts in two different languages. So, on the left you have an English text, on the right you have a German text. So, the students, they read both of them and they compare the text and they will find out the meaning of the new words in the target language using the text in English. So that way you can use it to understand new word meaning, understand new sentence meaning as well. So these are all the 7 areas where you can use Mehrsprachigkeitsdidaktik. Then we move on to the final topic, Mehrsprachigkeit im Lehrwerke. So whenever you're choosing books, try to find out if it is using the L1 or L2 when explaining things in L3. That is one aspect which we have to check. So beim Handel von Lernkomponenten soll das Lehrwerk Vergleich zwischen die Zielsprache und bekannte Sprache nutzen. So technically the book should give Hinweis saying that ein is indefinite article in German, a is indefinite article in English. So such kind of comparison and learn tip is very useful, and the book will be very good for teaching German. When possible, it must give tips of the main language. If it's in English, then it's good. The exercises and the task should make sure that it actually encourages the students to do a Sprachvergleich. So whenever they learn something in German, they can actually try to compare it against the English counterpart or the mother tongue counterpart of it, and that way they can do Mehrsprachigkeitsdidaktik while learning. It must give Hinweise and tips so that the students can also reflect, and eventually it should say this is the learn strategy which you are using, where you are using the Bekannte language of the target language. So hotel. So your learn strategies Internationalism. So that way you are going to deduce the word meaning. Such kind of tips are very useful when they are given in the books.
With that, the chapter comes to an end. Please feel free to like, subscribe and comment to the channel. If you have any questions, then contact me via email or put down your comments and I'll be able to reply. Thank you.